Hi, Yizhao Martins, licensed marriage and family therapist, couples therapist. So last week, I mentioned there are two core wounds, according to my own gathering of information from my clients and my own observation. The number one is a lot of the more ADHD partner tend to have is called I'm not good enough. And the other one, I observe a lot of less ADHD partner has that wound, which is my needs are not met. So let's focus on the second one today. What does it look like in an ADHD affected relationship? So I invite you to check in with yourself while I'm telling you two scenarios, the stories. So the first scenario is, say, Tracy. She's married to someone with ADHD symptoms, more on this side end of the spectrum, of the ADHD spectrum. And they've been married for a long time, they have children. So her partner's ADHD symptoms start to really get into the way of them achieving their goals together, including parenting a child together, managing family, finances, business, chores, and in their interpersonal relationship and intimacy. So time and time again, Tracy's expectations of an equal partner to step up to support her is not met by her partner. So her partner will be late picking up children and not delivering what they promised to do in chores. And then she carries a burden to take care of a lot of a logistic business, like doing tax and getting groceries and paying bills on time, managing the children's activities at school, even planning dates. So she started to feel really resentful, and she tried to express her needs for her partner to step up and to make them realize how their ADHD symptoms are impacting their relationship and their family system negatively. Tracy tried everything. She complained before, she tried the positive guidance and reinforcement, she sent her partner articles about ADHD, she hinted and she also expressed very explicitly what her expectations are, making complaints, sometimes making threats, sometimes making passive aggressive, sometimes with whole love and affection, sex and physical intimacy. None of those worked. It seems that nothing get through her partner to make them realize their ADHD symptoms are really impacting their relationship negatively and even their families, that it's not very balanced in a way that their partner, Tracy, is burnt out. So she feels really desperate and she feels stuck, and she doesn't have any time and energy to attend to her own needs, even some basic ones like going to the gym, having some time with her friends, and do a spa treatment, relax, or spending fun time with her children. That she feels like she's always tackling business, as you say. She's constantly adulting. For the two of them, she really feel like she's a single mother and then almost like another child, as her ADHD partner not stepping up to be the adult in the relationship. So that is one scenario. Okay, that's the partner is not diagnosed, is not aware of the ADHD symptoms and how that impact the relationship. So second scenario, it's slightly better, but you see. So Scott has been dating someone for quite a while, for a couple years, and they live together. And his partner was diagnosed with ADHD recently, maybe only a year or two, as she's a young adult. But for years that they were not diagnosed with ADHD, she was really suffering actually throughout childhood, as for learning, and then young adulthood as for work, to keep up with the deadline and demands of job, and keep interpersonal relationship, because she tend to be driven by the deadlines from school and work, and then she has a very limited capacity to socialize. and to build her own community. So Scott has been picking up most of the chores as for organizing events with friends and taking care of the domestic chores and being responsible. And every time Scott's trying to bring up that how overburdened he feels, or his wishes for her to step up and to take on more responsibility in the household, even anything that remotely indicating he's unhappy about some of her behavior's impact on the relationship, she gets into this shame hole that all the past experiences of she's not good enough because of her ADHD, that she cannot deliver on time. She's not like any other girls that's been expected to be very detail-oriented on task and very good at multitasking, that she felt that she's not good enough and then she might be abandoned by Scott. So she withdraw and then she cannot have a conversation with Scott as for the division of labor at home, and certainly has no room to listen to Scott's feelings around those unmet expectations and needs. So Scott just feel like he's tiptoeing around her the whole time, that he's afraid to bring up any issue that may slightly tread into the territory that she gets triggered. So he started to feel very frustrated and resentful, but at the same time feeling bind, couldn't really express freely and couldn't be seen and their needs met, of course, in the relationship. So you see the two scenarios, and the partner, I call it more on this end of the spectrum of the ADHD spectrum, or the more ADHD partner, either they were diagnosed, not diagnosed, with medication and behavior support or not, that they're either not able to see the impact of their ADHD and they're not aware of it, didn't see it's a problem, in denial, right? It's like, it's not that bad. Or they are aware of that, but they have so much shame around that, they couldn't free up their energy to be available to listen to their partner, their feelings and needs. They're stuck in their personal system. Either way, there's no room for the less ADHD partners' feelings, emotions, needs, desires, and dreams and hopes. So as the time goes, you can see it's not a very balanced relationship. They're not a partnership. The connection channel is not open. So if you belong to what I call the less ADHD partner, or if you are in a relationship, it doesn't matter there's ADHD or not. It could be in a relationship where your partner is more on this end of the spectrum of narcissism or has alcohol, substance misuses, that you felt there's no room for you. Like you're constantly, energy got drawn to them to take care of them or to step up because of their deficiency in the relationship. You feel drained, that your energy is now replenished, that you have no time to take care of yourself, and certainly you don't feel nurtured enough in the relationship. So ADHD or non-ADHD, right? I wanted to ask you to reflect on a couple questions. One is, what do you think a young child's needs are? If you can't remember your own childhood, maybe look around, see if you have children or your neighbor's child, your family's siblings or nieces and nephews, whoever you can see, like a young child, observant young child, and think about what a young child's needs are, from baby, infancy to say toddlerhood, to preschool age, to school age, and even a little bit older, as much as you can gather that information. I have a couple ones I can list for you. Think about safety, right? Nurturing, and think about being attuned to being seen and cared for, understood, and really mirrored. And also, as they get older, to validate their own autonomy and initiative, right? So different developmental stage, they have different needs, but the basic survival needs everybody probably can imagine for a child to survive is to be fed and diaper changed which to have physical comfort and also survival, attend to their safety, make sure they're safe, and they're a roof. They have their medical and educational care for their development. Their needs are being met, which means depends on the developmental needs. And as human beings, we're mammals. We need connection. A child without connection and care will not be able to survive. So that's also basic needs. So the second thing I want to ask you is think back at your own childhood as far out as possible as you can remember. Are those needs that you listed for a child generally have met? By who, in what way, and how? If they are not met, who didn't meet them? And how did not meet them? Was that consistently? Was that one-time thing? If you have no memories at all, it's a blank, it might be good to visit a psychotherapist and do some digging. That it's a sign that there's something there that's not being conscious, not being aware of. And notice what happens when you think about those things, when you're doing this, trace back, as we call it. What feeling got stirred up, or what sensations? Do you notice any tension in your body? Do you notice any feel of flow of energy or stuck of energy inside of you? Do you notice any heaviness in your chest, or maybe like tight jaw, headache, stomachache, tension behind the eyes? Anything that you notice that's different from your default state will be a good indicator there's something that calls for exploration. So next time, I will dig deeper with you as for the needs that every child has. And you can also bring that in if you did a little inventory and you have information to share. Put in the comment down below and let me know. And also, what do you think about the core wounds I summarized? So from my experience, I categorize all the wounds I see in people into two categories. And I wonder if that speaks the truth to you, or you have more you want to add to. So I welcome your input and your feedback, and I will see you next week, my friends.